Okay, well, we're ready to start Breakthrough Cambrai. And there's basically no dawn phase on the first turn of the game. We don't have to worry about any of this stuff. So, we know what the weather is, etc. So we go into the regular daylight phase where we're going to get alternating impulses. And I have to consider what the hell my goals are, right? I have a few, and they're kind of spaced differently. First of all, in the long term, I forgot about the victory conditions for this one. So, starting with November 26th onward, if the Brits have 15 or less have less than 15 victory points, they lose the game. If they break 20, they win. If they're between 16 and 20, the game keeps going, which shifts the victory point schedule just a tiny bit against them from the base game. The base game says at 20 you win. Of course, things are getting tougher as you get into this later part, because you're going to start handling the German counterattack. And this has changed every turn until December 3rd. On December 3rd, the game's over, and the British win if they can have held 15 territories, 15 points. Okay, so that's one side of things. But I've got the breakthrough to aim for, which is zones B, C, and D up here. I've got the Hague problems, which are, I want to be in areas 1, 5, and possibly east of the canal zone. 1 and 5 are these. Does look like where I'd want to make my main thrust, but I've got my reinforcements as well. My first turn reinforcements come in if I have areas 11, 19, and 20. Which are centered here, kind of in the other direction from where I'm trying to get for my victory points now, or for my victory. Zone D is eligible, but Zone E doesn't help me. So I don't know quite what to do, and I'm gonna reflect on the situation a little bit off screen, and then maybe come back with some thoughts before I do something. There is one thing that happens in the dawn. I have those barrages that are automatically triggered on the first turn. That'll make things a little easier. What I've been looking at is all my tanks are over here. The tanks give me a lot more capability for attacking, not just because of the potential of an overrun. I don't know how likely that is, but also their numbers are bigger. And as a point unit, they're more likely to recover. So it's going to be harder going, I think, for me to punch through up here right away. I might be able to get one space, or entrench myself in a space, essentially. Not really entrench. Alright, let's look at this special turn. Opening barrage. 1, 3, 9, 10, and H gets a bombardment. Normal bombardment, whatever that is. That's going to be the Hurricane barrage. Ooh, I need dice. I don't know what this came with dice. I could probably look on the back. MMP has a certain standard kind of die. It may well have just come with 2 dice. 4 dice. Probably 2 red, 2 white. I'm using some from a different game. I don't really like the MMP dice. Alright, so the Brits still use the red dice. And I believe this is... Yeah, we're going to have to look it up. I believe it's just a single die. But unfortunately the player aid is not good at expressing everything. Although it gives you, the stuff that's important once you are used to it. Single die roll. Okay. So I have a base value of 7, plus if there's more than 3 enemy units in the area. And there are more than 3 up here. 1 is one of the areas I hit. If I turn back here, 1, 3, 9, 10, and H. Okay. So, the Brits get a 9, 10, 11. The defense has a defensive modifier of +4. So 4, 8, and it's not overcast. So I got 3 hits on him. And that means he has to take basically 2 units disordered. I'm going to disorder the defensive unit and this. And we'll continue down to the next one here, again with a +4 defense. And again, this doesn't look like it has more than 3, it has 3 units in it. This time only a +7. So I get a 12 to 7, means I get 5 hits. That's a disruption on everything. Now, given what's going on here, I think I'm going to take the hit on the defensive positions instead of on the units. So I'll take these because I get these guys back. Recovering units takes me some effort, plus they only have a 0 defense. They're not going to... that's not entirely true. As long as they're not my point unit, they're not that big a deal to have up there. The 0 still adds a strength point. So taking those losses actually hurts me. Yeah. We'll put these in play. And this one's not going to get a... This one's going to lose a point by being in that position. This guy, though, I'm better off giving an additional defensive unit. And today's the first hot day of the year. So I'm going to have to figure out some kind of sweat reduction method. Do-rag or something like that. I'm dripping on my stuff. After stopping some physical problems, we had a whiff over here. Nobody got hurt. Elsewhere, we did a little bit of damage to everyone. This was actually our biggest hit. Now comes, you know, that hard decision. Where do we plow? Because this is our one area that we can move from before things get out of hand. Now, this area is kind of neat because it connects to 2 places I could attack. This one looks like it only hits 1, this one 1. What's nice about hitting from 2 is that I can throw forces into both directions and get more momentum coming out of that. So I think we're going to go with that to begin with. It gets us also near our horses, which the earlier they come in, the more useful they are, I guess. So now we look at, you know, what kind of numbers we want to send. And basically, I don't want to split up my divisions because if forces are, you know, operating with different divisions, they have an additional penalty. So we will send a tank as lead unit here. This looks weaker than this. There's only 2 units here versus 1. So that's where we're going to send the weaker force. We'll send a couple of tanks this way. If I don't move my armor now, I could throw some additional armor into here. Ooh, let's make sure we're getting the divisions in the right place. 6 can go in here. 20 can go here. 12 can go here. Okay, so we're sort of forced as to where we're heading in this first turn anyway. The armor is not limited. The only question is whether I'd want to shift some armor over here. I almost feel like that would be a little disingenuous. So since we got 2 full divisions going this way, we'll send the rest of the armor this way. All right, so now let's look at our optional rules here. First 2 game turns, tanks get an extra +1. This turn, tanks get another +1 to their attack value. So we got an additional +2. We're going to go in. We'll do this one first for the hell of it. We're using the tank as the lead unit. They'll use this as their lead defense. So we look at attack value. Before we do this, are we throwing any air power in? Air power, artillery, whatever. So movement-wise, moving into here, we have to find the movement cost, which is here. So we're entering a vacant area. So I have to worry if I was in an area that I'm already present with enemy units, and I don't see the values for that. But here, moving into a vacant area, no, an area containing a fresh enemy unit is going to cost me 4 of my movement factors. That's pretty much everything. So even if I get a breakthrough, I'm not going to get very far. So we're going in with these. Do I want to hold my artillery in my air? Well, I could reduce the movement point cost, and this is the only place I'm going to get breakthroughs. So I'm going to throw a rolling barrage into here to drop that movement point cost down to 2. Because that gives me enough that I could go into another space. Alright, so for my points, and I could drop it down to a 1, but I don't know how far I'm likely to break through. This is an early attack. I'm not really sure how much, additional locations I even want to hit. So attack value is 1 for each additional unit in the assault. So I'm at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for the Brits versus 5 for the Germans. Okay, 11 for the Brits. I'm not using any direct support. 5 for the Germans, but they get their defensive multiplier of 4. Ooh, maybe I want to throw some artillery to support the attack too. Okay, let's, first time doing it, right? I'm going to drop a couple artillery direct support into each one. In both cases, I'm allowed to throw this much support in because I've got at least that many infantry going in. This one, actually, I've got more infantry going in, but that's okay. All right, so instead of 11, we're at 13 to their 9. That gives us essentially a +4. We're hoping for the breakthrough, but we're not really trying to guarantee it in any way. So +4 is 6. We do 3 hits to them. Now, what can they take from this? Well, I'm not seeing... Here it is. Each fresh unit eliminated is 3. Fresh unit exhausted is 1. Exhausted unit eliminated. Okay, so we take a hit on our tank. That's for going in and succeeding. They take 3. Were there any additional bonuses for this first turn? It's in the 51st, I hope. That's over here. I'm not quite sure I really want that thing going into battle. Alright, so I don't think we did them. I was at +6, 8. I do. Right? Not +6. 13 to 9 is +4. 6. I only do 3 hits, which would eliminate this, or I could kill this crappy thing for 2 and take a hit on the good thing. Now this crappy thing's not coming back. That's not a garrison. That's some landware. Okay. And we didn't get any kind of breakthrough or anything. So these guys stop without a success. Now, instead of taking the hit on him, I could have retreated. Only if I'm exhausted. Yeah, I guess I'm stuck holding the line there. I think. Well, instead of losing this, I could retreat it, right? That's what it sounds like. Let's retreat the decent unit, giving some additional defense, I guess. Or, yeah, it's not really any additional defense, is it? Well, this is a stronger unit than this. The problem is the lead unit would be taking a hit, I think. Let me come back after I think. It's not like I have any choices. I'm kind of stuck here. But one of the real options is, do I want to hold this terrain here? Or do I want to be pushed out? But I don't really have much option there. I had to take the losses I did, I guess. So that's one part. And this does not change the ownership of the area because there's still some Germans in there. Now I'll launch an attack here. I should have done this beforehand. I wanted a rolling barrage here as well. I just didn't put it there. And these, I'll put aside so that I can buy them back. Alright, so again, that cost me only 2 to move in. I've got more units coming in here. So I've got a tank at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, -1 for 2 divisions. I believe that's the penalty. Yep. So that puts me back to 11. but +2 for the tank assaults on this early turn. So that puts me up to 13 versus 3, 4, 5, 9. Hey, that's the same. How did that happen? Let's make it 15. So now I'm at +6 with more likelihood of getting a breakthrough. And I certainly do. 12 to 4 essentially. That's going to be, I have to take 8 points. Well, this would be 3, 6, 7 to kill all this. I don't want to kill it all. Right? Wait. Casualties. No, just... Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. 3, 6, 7. I can destroy these two. I think I have to eliminate this rather than retreat it for the 8 points. I don't think I got a breakthrough. 8 was where I was aiming at, and I think that's exactly what I hit. For a breakthrough, I believe I need a point more than could be absorbed. Or an overrun, not a breakthrough. Breakthrough is how you win. More than can possibly be absorbed. What I do get, though, is an area and a victory point. And that's the first impulse, because I didn't get any additional advances or anything. You know, but these British guns, they're used, so they're just things I can buy back like the German ones. And that pushes me into a German impulse. And I'm going to have to think while I figure out whether or not what I want to do with that. Theoretically, yeah, I didn't have to roll a die on the first impulse, but theoretically I'm going to have to roll a die after the British impulses, but I couldn't possibly, it's a 2-die roll. There's no possibility of getting a 0, so the weather's not going to change during this. So the Germans lost some ground here, and there's nothing stopping the Brits from making another attack from out of there. So, you know, I can continue pushing with these into these horsey areas or whatever. Just because I didn't get a breakthrough doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So I kind of would like to push forward and throw some reserves into place. But I don't want to create a too brittle a line. So, for example, this space looks like it's about ready to just crack. There's nothing defending it. This space looks at risk. I'm allowed 1 move out. This space looks really important. But so does this one. Everything looks like it might cave. And I'm really not sure how to get the Germans into a defensible position against the force that was thrown by the Brits here. And if the day lasted forever, the Brits would take the whole map. But what can I do? I have really only 1 reserve back here at Cambrai. And if I look at my movement costs, I have to worry once I get adjacent to the enemy. I have 5 movement points. I think I'm going to activate that. I have to really worry that I don't lose this, because that leads to a breakthrough space. So yeah, we're going to activate this. We're not going to be doing any assaults. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to get adjacent. This has some defense. This is going to crack. There's not much I can do about it. The woods, the terrain doesn't seem to mean anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm strengthening this space because that looks like it's part of a weakness there. And I think I don't know if I need to strengthen this. I mean, this is obviously a nasty place to break through, but how far can the Brits get? Well, next turn they can attack here, make it here, possibly get an overrun and get to another space. That's impulse 2 over there. You know, I mean, it's all under threat. I feel like I need to cover this as well if I can get there. 1. There's no bridge. Oh geez, this is a bridge. I'm here, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And maybe I should be pulling back, but it's not like there's big areas, you know, that are protecting things. Actually, it's the front line areas that are so big that I feel like I need to cover. 1, 2, across the bridge, I guess. 3, 4, you know, I could throw some cover nearby. Or 1, 2, 3. I hope I'm not paying a penalty on defense for having multiple divisions. Doesn't look like it. And this is the one area that's been attacked. You know, the attacks are going to be just as strong elsewhere. I can see what's happening. I just don't know how to defend safely here. Well, we got to move this up somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess that's about as far as we can get. We're covering the hole, and we hand it back to the Brits. Brits, I'm seeing this as the weakness. This is the place where I want to drive through. So I'm going to activate this again. And now I'm going to cut the cost of that. Movement cost down to 2. I'm going to be making an assault here. I have to make sure that succeeds. That's the problem. And then I can actually go 2 out. This costs me 2 more movement points to enter. I don't think I'm going to be able to bust my way through, but by pushing through to here, I think I forced the Germans maybe to withdraw their position a little bit. So, let me think. Problem with this thinking, and I'm going to withdraw this and not make this choice right away, is that in order for me to get the breakthrough, I got to get cav. And I don't have any cav. Now, I get some from here, so yes, I am going in there. Basically what I'm looking at is trying to make a quick run all the way maybe back to here, now that he's pulled the reserves out of here. Now he can fall back, whatever. So yeah, I'm going to put in here, I don't see anything that stops me from using, so these guys have no attack value, but I'm not sure they can't assault as additional units. They just don't serve as the point unit from what I can see. Maybe, I seem, this is not easy to find what you're allowed to do and what not. So, here's the problem. I can't go in there. This unit is not allowed to go that far. Only the 51st and 62nd can push me that far. So we're going the wrong way there. Okay. But what I'm still trying to look up here is, can I use this guy in an assault against this as a backup unit or something? Because if I want to push into here, I'm going to need that assault. But I need to get some ground with horses if I'm going to do this punch through that I want to do. And in fact, my divisional limitations say this unit is not going into here. And that's a pity, because this is, you know, I have to bust my way through another wall to get in here. Or up here, you know. This is not necessarily the easiest place for me to bust through. So 620, I can get to here. And that looks like I stopped there. The 20th doesn't look like it has any right to go any further. So it looks like I have to get the damn 51st or 62nd. But the 51st is the one, well, no, neither one gets me to here. I'm not allowed to get to here. And these limitations are for the first 2 turns, so I can't even take the territory that Haig most wants. Wow, that's kind of weird. Jesus. And I can't go into these either. Okay. So I'm not going to just blitz him and get out of the way. Which means I guess I select down here and don't really have the opportunity to think too hard. Looks like we have a chance of an overrun here if we go in. I get to use my air support every impulse. I should be using it. And let's put a ground support in there. That should work. I'm going to toss 2 divisions into play here. And that gets me 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12, 13, 14 to 7. Because the line isn't very well defended there. 14 to 7. That sounds like 7. Plus 7. Make it plus 9 hits. And that's going to give me an overrun here. Let's see what my casualties are. So I've got what did I say, 9 hits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's going to wipe these out. The garrison I can buy back, or I get back later. The other unit is dead. And now we have a successful overrun here. One of our tanks goes down. I don't care which one, I can reapportion them. Alright, now what I didn't do was I didn't apply any additional artillery. The Germans may have wanted to try to blow a bridge, but it's too late now. Would I have wanted to? Yeah, because I would have had this retreat, and I could retreat across the water. So let's see if I can demolish the bridge. Bridge demolition is here. We were 1 free is plus 3, plus 5, make it plus 4. 7, that was successful. So we took the bridge out there. Okay. And that was before the attack actually happened. And I'll be doing the same here if we go in there. So now, the 20th and 29th, that's these 2 units, can go into here. I have no movement allowance for this crap. These can't really assault, I'm sure. So, I don't have enough movement to cross this. This costs all my movement points and I've already gone in. I've used up my firepower here. So I'm gonna grab a victory point. And I'm gonna punch through, I think with just a single division here. Because these extra guys can add at most 2 strength points. Well, 2 is a bonus, right? So we'll come in here with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 because of the first turn tank bonuses, 13, I'm facing 3, 6, so I'm at plus 7 without any artillery or anything like that. Could I move in there? Probably not, because I didn't put a fucking rolling barrage in there. I spent 2 for the first, and it cost me 4 more to get in. I don't have enough movement to go in. My bad, and I don't have enough to get here. Alright, so we'll take our 2 ammo, and our plane goes back and it'll be ready for the next one, and now we're back on the Germans. And that was kind of a screw up. If I had placed another rolling barrage, I'd be in here. I wasn't counting correctly. I was saying, oh, well, if I get in here for 2, yeah, I'm great. No, you gotta place a rolling barrage where you're planning on going to. Oops. Okay, so I'm looking at the German position here, and the map is very cleverly designed so that there are not very many, oh, this is the maneuver I want to do here. For example, You know, you might be thinking, well, I could shorten my line a little bit, pull back here, but it's not really shorter. What I think I'm going to do is a regroup action that allows me to pull out of there. That gives this a little bit more defensibility. I don't know if it really helps because the Brits have to stay behind and assault that before they push forward. But I'm just feeling like my territory, you know, no. Honestly, I don't think a regroup makes sense. I think what makes sense is strengthening this. All right. These guys can't move. I hope I didn't move them. Yeah, I'm going to have to move here. That's all I can see there. And I can only blow bridges when I'm being assaulted, I think. I don't think I'm allowed to do it just at will. If I can find that. It's on the blow bridges, 14.1. This paper, you gotta spit on your hand to turn it. At the end of an assault period by the group that controls it. Oh, no. Okay, so, I don't know. We'll leave this one destroyed. I'm going to try to blow this one. That's free on both sides. There's, wait, that's +6, but -2, -1 for a demolition attempt. On a 1, I fail. Got that one blown too. We don't want to make that terrain easy to travel through. I kind of cheated with blowing this bridge, but I could have done it at an earlier point. Are there any others I want to blow? Yeah, I want to blow this one. That's I'm at +3, +2 for that one. And same for this one. And we're making it harder on the Brits. How about further in? Yeah, you know, retreating across a broken area is fine, but I can't guarantee the Brits are going to get close to there, so I'm okay with that. What about this thing? That sounds like a good idea to blow. And I would have probably blown this one back then. Of course, that might have changed where the Brits launched their attack, right? So that's it for the Germans. Did I do that right? I don't know. Let's see. At the end of an assault, if an enemy controls at least one of the bridges in the two areas. No. I could do these. I couldn't do this one. So no guaranteed ones. I'm not allowed to do this. Okay. And now we're back on the Brit turn. Got to think about what the hell I want to do with them. Adding to that thinking is, I just took this out. That was area 20. That's this. These show up in zone I. Now they don't have their full strength points. But that gives me the impetus to punch through if I can make a hole. And these are non-divisional units, so actually I could go rolling all the way back there with them, which sounds kind of cool to me. So what do I want to do? Do I want to try to punch this hole here? Or do I want to try to push my way through here? There's openings up there. This is the easier, but I have to go through this crap. I feel like destroying the Germans more broadly is probably the wiser move. I'm probably not going to be able to just get a cav back there at all. So I'm going to launch my attack out of here. And let's see. I don't feel like, so I can go here and then I could go here if nothing succeeds in retreating and I advance. So I'm going to play a rolling barrage. I'm going to play my plane. I'll put another attack support. Do I want another one? Yeah. And I'll send these suckers in. Now this is the damn 51st working with the tanks. Do I even want them there? It's just a -2. That's as much as they're adding to the attack. I'm going to leave them back, I think. See, they can't enter here if I leave them behind. That's the problem. Well, they don't add anything, they don't lose anything. They're going forward. Okay. So in we go, and we're at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm not even going to count these guys because they're penalized by 3. 11, 12, 13, 14 to 8, 9, 10. I'm only at +4. I thought I'd be hitting higher than that, but I'm not very good at counting. I get 5 hits. That's 1, 2, 3. I don't have to do that, but I could take a hit on this to 4, 5 and just knock it back. That prevents any chance of an advance there. And we didn't have to make a 2-die roll. We're getting to the point where I gotta worry. I probably had to worry on turn 2. Oh, no, this is checking for weather. Let's see if the first one, if I rolled a deuce. No. This one would have changed the weather, but instead I rolled an 8. Because you only check for weather on the British turn, which could end the turn. Now I gotta think again. What do I want to do with my Germans? How do I cover things? Because it really just looks like my line is collapsing everywhere. Is there a reason to stay, you know, to move back? What does that give me? I don't see an advantage to that at this point, because I'm covering the same ground. The only possible advantage would be that I could withdraw units back here, and I don't think I can withdraw garrisons, but this is not a garrison. So I don't know. It turns out when I pushed into here, I brought too many units with me. I'm just going to leave it as is, move those units back. But yeah, that was illegal because only the 20th can go in here. I thought that, you know, the 12th can't go anywhere, basically. It can go to here and that's it. It can't go into here either. So, and in fact, only the 29th, which I guess started here. I got to find them. I got no idea where they are. Maybe they're one of the reinforcing units. Yeah, they are. That kind of thing, I am incredibly prone to that kind of error. I know a lot of people are, and probably no matter how many times I play this, I will screw up those because they're just not that easy to see. I take care of the first time and then think that I can continue on in that way. Now I got to defend this from something. All right, I'm really flummoxed though as to what to move with my Germans. I could do a withdrawal to here. That doesn't really gain me anything. I have a little more defensive bonus here. It does make it a little more expensive for the Brits to move forward though, maybe. So if the Brits attack here, if they do an assault here, they spend 2 movement points to assault this. And then, no, 1 movement factor to assault this. And then moving into here will cost them 2 because there's an adjacent unit. If I was in there exhausted, it'll cost 3 to move into here. This will cost a little more if these guys stand here though, which is kind of why I'm leaving them. But here's the problem. Only 1 division can hit me here. So, you know, it may be worth... I just hate giving up ground, but, you know, I'm kind of easily knocked out of anywhere. But ground is the important thing in this game. But ground is related to movement points. But what if there's no overrun, you know? There will be. But there'll be an overrun if I'm here too. So this will move in for 3. Then we can move to here for 5. Whereas if these guys stay here, it costs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still make it there. I got no idea. One thing that it does though is it prevents, you know, me from putting no, I can still put a bombardment there even if there was some reason for it. I can't think of what to do with my Germans. I really can't. You know, withdrawing damaged units doesn't do much. Withdrawing units from here, I could stiffen the defenses in essence, because this would be a little bit more equal to what's up here. And both of them can only be hit by 1 British division. However, that British division is down here and can only hit here. And I could have the same effect by pushing, not a garrison, I'm not allowed to move that, but by pushing a depleted unit back there using a reorg action. And, you know, I mean, that's the best that I can think of doing. It really is. And then we get to the Brits. There's just, you know, I don't have many pieces on the board, and I don't have a lot of opportunity to really, you know, I certainly can't counterattack or anything, and most of my pieces don't have movement. All I could do is a I don't know, whatever the hell it's called, regroup or whatever, reorg, I don't know. Doesn't do much. It just lets you pull your damaged units out, basically, and undamaged units. I'm seeing this area as the most important. Now, why don't I have a damaged tank here? I think I forgot to take one as a damage. Unfortunately, the 51st, who hates tanks, is the unit that goes into here. But I can make an assault without an overrun there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an initial assault here. Do I need movement points? This is 2, 6 to get into there. Well, I don't think a rolling barrage helps here, but it helps here. 2, no, 1, 2, 1, 5 to get into here. I don't need it. Okay. Because I'm not going to get a breakthrough anyway. Up here, I need 1, 2, 3 to get there. 4, 5 will get me as far as there, perhaps. So, we should be okay. This is the only real fight that we're looking at making. And I don't think we need much. We'll just send our plane in, because we're running kind of low on artillery here. And I want to be able to make some advances there and maybe there or whatever. Alright, so let's hit. We're at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ignore the 51st because it doesn't help anything. 10 to 2, 3, 7. That's not very good. Is that right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10, 11. I'm at 11 to 7, plus 4. Maybe I should have sent something in. So I get a 6 to 1, that's 5. Fully eliminating these two is worth 2 each, so they will both have to die, I guess. Again, that doesn't appear completely clear in the rules that that's the case. Another victory point here for Harncourt, which I think is important. And now I've spent 1 movement point here. Now I can spend another 1 moving in here, well, another 4, and damage another tank. 2 more going in there, so I'm at 3. And we're about the end of our line here. 4, 5 up to here, I guess. Kind of. See, what I don't like is him attacking my tank might seem like an optimal move. I want the extra defenses though, don't I? I guess. This is a more defendable location. Okay. Now we have an assault coming in here, where I've got 4, 5, 6. Oh, I forgot the armor advantage there. 4, 5, 6 till it looks like 4. So I'm only at +2. I'm just really trying to entrench myself there. 6, I do 2 hits. 2 hits will damage him, and then I can either destroy him or I can retreat, and I would rather retreat. We have some flags to put down. We have some more more horses to put down as well. We can take our plane back. We did not roll a 2-die roll. Don't seem to need them. What horses did we just get? Well, we just gained area 11, which is this group. This is gonna come in zone J over here. I was hoping to bring these guys in. I think they come in when I take 19. I really kind of want to just unleash this whole force upward as best as I can, at least the cav, to get them as close to threatening things. So the Germans really have to keep pulling back. Now I have to make a check. Now this would be the end of turn check, but it's not. It's just a weather check for this turn. And we're back to the Germans. So the German line is in a lot of trouble actually right now, right? Because I'm getting cut off down here and I'm going to have to pull out of there. To what degree do I pull out? Well, if I leave here, the 36th can go sliding up. If I leave here, I can do one of two things. I can move across the bridge at 1, and I could get to some nice locations, but that leaves my defensive dude behind. Now this is just a garrison, so I'm willing to lose him rather than try to pull him back to regroup. That doesn't seem to make much sense. So here I come back at 1, crossing the bridge. 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to cover what I can. There's an opening here, but because of the British requirements as to staying in, divisional formation or whatever, the 62nd can't go cushion up here. In fact, I could just leave this open, but I'm kind of worried about these horsies coming through. What would they pay? See, these are in kind of the wrong order because they have vacant area adjacent to a fresh enemy unit down below the vacant area, and so you read vacant area. But yeah, this would cost 1, 2, oh no, fresh enemy unit. 1, 2, 3. I mean, I'm getting pretty damn close with those horses, so I feel like I have to cover this just to prevent a cav breakthrough down there. But if I come through 1, 2, 3, oh wait, these guys are fresh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's as far as they can get. So we're not going to see them jumping through real quick, but I'm going to have to start pulling these guys out too. Anyway, that's what our Germans did. Here's my conundrum. The Brits are only going to have 3 more turns. Clearly, part of me kind of wants to attack and gain some ground in other places, but I've made this big breakthrough. Well, not a breakthrough, but I've made this big advance towards the breakthrough points. And I'd also kind of like to get my cav up near there. Among other things, I think that'll clear the way for my other forces to advance, because the Germans won't be able to maintain a perimeter that's this broad. Why fight when they'll give the land up fine? Except that by fighting I can wipe out their units, which is kind of nice too. But yeah, the question right now is, do I want to try to move some of these cav upward where there's a greater threat? I'm not going to be able to make a breakthrough, I don't think. 51st is over here, and that's the one that I need to get this close. 62nd could get to here, but actually it's not just the Germans who have some trouble in terms of having to hold terrain. The British do too. 62nd has to basically hold, not this, I've got my tanks back here, but it has to hold these 2 spaces, and I'm kind of running out of units that I could conceivably attack with. So I don't know if I could push into this space, the high defense factor, etc. On the other hand, these movement restrictions are pretty painful as well. Let me take a look at, I don't know where they're covered. That's the problem. I've walked away, and they're not where I'd expect them, towards the back with like the first turn rolls and such. Not operational sectors 20th and 21st. So I'm not going to be able to push into this area or this area where I could get to my victory areas, except if I do it just with Cav. And that sounds unlikely, to say the least. So maybe I want to build up my attacks and strengthen the position. Or maybe I want to hit German units, which I think actually may be the most advantageous thing of all for me. Let me think a little bit more as to what I want the British to do. Things that you kind of like to do in an operational, or really almost any game, except maybe certain tactical, is pocket some troops. That sounds like a great plan, right? The problem is these operational boundaries make that difficult. So 51st could run up to here, but then to hit here I'd need 20th or 29th. Well, 29th doesn't exist yet, and 20th would have to either attack the units I want to pocket or attack across here. And in fact, they don't go all the way up here, so I need 29th to hit here. So I'm just not going to be able to close this off. You know, it looks appealing to try to make these in-depth breakthroughs. And certainly if it was, you know, German infiltration tactics, that's what you'd want. But I'm not so convinced that that's all that helpful for British, for this situation, to just push forward, although it does put me closer to where I'd be able to get those breakthroughs if I do punch forward. However, how do I defend the territory that I already am laying down? And I don't know. On the other hand, attacks over here, which I haven't been doing, I have no armor here. So I go into here, or I go into here, and that's it. Also, it's not necessarily going to be that easy to make this attack. Let's say I attack from here. I've got 4, 5, 6. I'm facing 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, yes, I can throw some air and artillery, but I got to put a pretty heavy investment to take this location here. So that doesn't seem, you know, all that appealing to me. So I think what I'm considering is launching an attack on here. This is the 6th, to push into this Marcoing. And then the 6th can cut up this way. And I don't know beyond that, because I still have to defend the territory I'm taking. So let's do this. We're going to launch an attack here. Now, in order to do it, we have to cope with this first, which to me means we're looking at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I still don't know if that fucker counts. They may have to expend movement points. Yeah, I think I need the movement points to launch the attack, so I'm not going to be able to make it with that. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 4. That's plus 6. That's pretty good. I think I'm okay with that, actually. It's very likely I'm going to get the breakthrough here. Which means then I want this to happen, because I've already spent 2. Getting into there, we put it to 4. At this point, 5, 6, which is too far. Do I need another rolling barrage? I don't know if I need to push into there quite yet. What about my attack value here? Well, I'm going to have to leave something behind. It might just be this. 6, 7. There's going to be another damaged tank. So 6, 7, 8, 9 would be coming into here to some 6. That's getting a little uglier. I definitely want to throw my plane in there. And I'll throw one more artillery. But I think that's all I can do. I could throw another rolling barrage and maybe get through here. But I think I'm more interested in the attack. So, what did I say here? This is like 10 to 4. That's plus 6, so I do 6 hits, which is clearly enough to destroy this. And this is a regular unit, so it's just destroyed. That got me a breakthrough, which means I can continue my movement. That's up to 4 movement points. If I hadn't put the rolling barrage here, I wouldn't have the points to go in, right? Oh no, wait, this guy was only exhausted defenders. Okay, let's see. So we actually will have more. So this was 1, 2, 3. I have movement to get into this 9 wood here. Sounds like a driving range. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm at plus 5 here. 8 to 6, that's not going to do much. 2 is, I believe, the cost. This is 1. 2, I could do a retreat. I'll retreat the decent unit. And since nobody can get in here, I'll retreat it back to here. That's not an overrun, so the attack's over here. These guys come in. And now we get to make, and I keep this extra die here just in case I make a 2-die roll. Now I get to make a roll. We got a 6, which is not here. This would have ended the turn because it's lower than the impulse value. And that puts us over to the German turn. But no, we did not just. We triggered this, we captured this, which gets us a victory point. But we did not take this. I think occupation's enough, isn't it? No, it says British controlled over here. Elsewhere I thought it said occupied, but who knows. And we had an assault here, so our tank is tired. And I gotta be careful with that and make sure that I'm tiring out my tank sufficiently. Here on the 9th impulse, the Germans have some interesting choices. My first thought was, and they blew the bridge at the end of the last phase because the Brits are here. They could have done it earlier too. My first thought was to pull this guy out and bring him back here. That gives me a nice, better, tighter defensive line. The danger to that is that gives this space up. Is that terrible? Well, the canal is here, and there's a modifier to the Hague roll if I let the Brits across the canal. So overall, it behooves me to leave that controlled. There's not really a great danger of the Brits just pushing through here. This doesn't have any armor with it, so it's not going to get very far. And this is the only division which can make it even this far, and it's not going to get breakthroughs there. The Cav could be somewhat risky, but it only has 5 movement points, remember, and it's kind of expensive to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be it. You know, if things clear out more, they can slide them up further forward, but they're not a real threat right now. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to move these guys. Now the question is, do I do a withdrawal or do I do a move? If I'm just going to give up the territory, a withdrawal kind of makes sense because a move is not going to get me very far. 2, 4, I can get to here. That's already got some cover. And like I said, only the 51st Division can be in there because of this. So it's not really my zoom lies. It's not really in a lot of danger right now from, say, these guys. So I'm going to do a withdrawal action. I'm going to leave this here. Oh no, I'm taking that with me. That's a real unit too. I was going to leave it because I thought it was a garrison. But we got like a stacking of 9, pulling everybody back here. That works fine. That puts us over onto the Brits again. What are they going to do? I don't know yet. I decided the biggest thing I can do with the Brits, because I can only get 2 activations now, is to release these forces. Why is that such a big deal? I mean, with only 2 activations, I could grab some other territory. But the big reason is the 29th Division. I can push forward a little bit further with that. Strangely, the 29th also goes into here. But I don't know how he gets there. This is probably a typo. Oh no, he can get there from back here. So the 29th can slide this way if I so desire. Which I may. I don't know which is more important to me. Both of them, and anything across the river is of some value. So then the question becomes, well, do I move from here and try to cross the river, or do I just push into that empty area? But as of right now, I'm going to launch an assault down here. And I don't have any armor there. I'm just going to throw my air in. That leaves me with a bunch of pieces for next turn. Now I can hold on, or for the next impulse, I don't have to spend all of these. I can buy them back with ammo, if I recall correctly. Huh. I know these guys are wasted if you don't use them, but I don't remember. I believe the regular artillery stays. I don't remember a stage that said you lose those counters, although I do remember kind of a statement that says some of them are use them or lose them, but I think that applies to these, and it's just too hard to find things. It's not a terrible rule book, it's just finding little bits like that. There's a lot of special cases of that nature. Okay, so that means I'm going to be at 3, 4, 5. This guy can't come in. 6 here. That's +3. That sounds good. I don't have armor here, so no bonuses from that. And that gets me a huge hit, which destroys whatever this is. It's just a garrison, so I'll be getting that back. That gives me another territory. And that unleashes all of this. Which gives me a pretty potent combination, because I can move the cav as well as the infantry for their advances. And that puts the world into the Germans' hands, but we got to make a weather roll again. 10. Germans fell back up here, giving this space away. They're not really going to lose it. Well, they might. We'll see. So I'm going to launch my attack out of here. I don't think I can hit anything, because I come across here at 1, 2, 3 because of this guy, 4, 5 to here. I'm not allowed to go up into these areas with the 29th Division. That means unless I want cav to attack, which I may. I think 1 cav unit's coming here. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, and we'll grab this without an assault. There I'd have to make an assault. Then the other one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up into this front area, or I could actually grab the sugar factory, which is open, which looks even more appealing to me. Do I want to send the whole cav force forward for this? It's kind of risky having them in the front line. I'm worried that they'll get chewed up by some kind of counterattack, but I don't think the Germans have a counterattack in them. They just don't have much coming in next turn. So, and they don't have much on the field, that's for sure. So I think this is fine without expending any of my points. I could use the rolling barrage to get me into space, is cheaper. 1, 2, 3 because of him. 4, 5. And I'm allowed to be there. This is 29th Division. These cav I don't think have any restrictions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I could continue on into here and have done an assault, but at +3, it's as strong as my cav is, so unless I threw a lot of artillery in there, I wasn't going to do that. And then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll grab the sugar factory. So all territory I'm going to gain anyway, but at least I'm kind of undermining the German position more rapidly. I had done this, that's this. I don't think there's a weather change chance on this, but I'm not sure what it would matter. Okay, so that means we drop off the map, which means we automatically go into the end phase. And now night phase discusses becoming exhausted, which has nothing directly to do with the night phase. It's, sometimes, you know, I don't know, there's always a, where do you put these rules? Do you put them under like assault or movement or something like that? This would be fine under assault. This is just really a summary of the effects in the assault. But this is where you repair that, but it seems like a weird place to put it. Another option would have been, and probably that's how it got moved here, was it was in its own little rule about exhaustion, and then since most of that rule is under here. Okay, so the Brits go first. Brits have to be able to trace back to I, J, K, or L to refit, and that's this line, and I think everything is capable of doing that. And Germans have to trace back to theirs, and that also looks quite possible. Okay, first the hurricane barrages. It's November 20th. I have to roll greater than a 4. I have 2 of these. Neither one succeeds. Then I get my artillery refits, which is a die roll, but there's special rules because of this, because it's the 20th. I get a +3 to my die roll for artillery ammunition. So I got 7 ammo. I'm just going to buy 7 counters. I'm going to keep these apart because I'm going to look to make sure they weren't use them or lose them, although I'm screwed up if they were. And now we go to tank refit. Now, I'd rather do both things for one side at once, so I'm going to do the German artillery refit as well. And they get a 10, which we'll quickly buy. I don't know where we're going to put theirs. I guess up here. See if I can remember them. Tank refit. Each tank has to make a check against its defense factor. And if it rolls less than or equal to it, it succeeds. Okay. So there's a tank. I think these are both tanks. They both rolled less than or equal to, so they both recover. These guys are tanks. They both failed, so what's going to happen is I look for tanks C and F. C and F. And I try to remember where the hell I had them. I think they were back here. And they now have a downgraded or weakened version on the board. This looks like it's probably a tank. Recovers. And this is a pretty big roll. These tank recoveries. They're getting pretty lucky with them. Okay. infantry refit. So the Germans only get one infantry refit thing. Now, I get to see where the British refits are, including the tanks. So the Brits are able to withdraw cav units and turn them into infantry if I have any damaged infantry. It doesn't look like I have any, so I'm not going to do that, obviously. So the Germans get a refit. I'll refit this unit because he's kind of, well, he's kind of stuck in stupid terrain. He's just going to get killed, but whereas I might be able to use the reinforcements next turn to shift him into place. However, those reinforcements, I think, if I recall correctly, can only equal what I'm pulling off the line in terms of number of units. When a reinforcement is due to appear, I can place it in any free area containing an exhausted unit. The exhausted unit is then placed in the zone that the reinforcement was supposed to. That sounds like it's kind of a one-for-one replacement. It's not absolutely clear. Maybe I could throw them all in to where there's one damaged unit. Again, maybe the playbook gives some example of that, but I'm not about to look that up. All right, we're going to fix this one. And then we hit the end phase. We did not get a breakthrough. We can't get one this early. Haig doesn't have to make his decision. I don't think we have a victory. For some reason, bridges come after the end phase. Again, they don't really fit into anything. They're like the exhausted. This is one of those kind of rules that's just hanging out there. Or that would be just hanging out there, but in this case, this is not quite where I would want to put it, but I understand the thinking behind it. I kind of expect this to be a little before the end phase, kind of near the impulse phase, but I understand why you would put it outside of the sequence of play entirely. And that means, unless there's something special, I believe we have finished the first turn. We'll go to the second turn here. Put these here, this goes back, and we'll send this one up.